Well, the IEC has rejected Action SA's appeal to be registered as a political party. The Commission rejected its application in September because it had a similar logo to that of another political party called Party of Action. Action SA also had the South African flag in its logo, which is not allowed. Action SA says it's shocked by the IEC's decision and is very concerned that a Chapter 9 institution charged with safeguarding electoral democracy could make such a flawed decision. The party is consulting lawyers to decide on the way forward. Well, let's bring in the national spokesperson of Action SA, Lerato Mngobeni, to find out the way forward. Lerato, thank you very much indeed for your time. Welcome to the agenda.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much to you giving us this opportunity, and good morning to your listeners.
Good morning to you. Thank you very much indeed for taking the opportunity. Your reaction, your party's reaction to this decision?
I think, as we mentioned in our statement, we are quite perturbed. We're very shocked by the IEC's stance. I mean, we did in our appeal offer them the opportunity to sit us down and see what it is, how it is that we developed our IP and how it is we developed our identity. It was for the first time that we heard of a party called the Party of Action when our appeal was being rejected. And, people must also remember, similarity is not sameness. And also, we just really believe that the IEC really needs to take this decision quite rationally. The way that it stands right now, it seems that they are flip-flopping from one decision to the next, basing their decision from one decision to the next. And that tells us that their decision-making process is quite arbitrary. I mean, in the beginning, they said, they were rejecting us based on the Heraldry Act of 1962 by the use of the flag. I think that all South Africans are aware that most political parties in the country draw inspiration from the South African flag. That's what unites us as South Africans. And so if you see our logo, it actually is derived from aspect of the People's Dialogue logo, which we used when we launched the People's Dialogue on the 6th of December in 2019.
Lerato, talk to us about the Heraldry Act and its legal parameters. What's your understanding?
I mean, the Heraldry Act, first of all, that standard has never been applied in any situation when a political party has registered with the IEC in the past. If you remember, we had COPE, which actually had the most similarities to the South African flag when they were registered as a political opposition political party some years ago. The Heraldry Act really is a protection of a country's IP. In other words, you're not able to use the country's logo without official capacity. In other words, if you're not a part of the government and so on. But using elements of the flag, using the colors of the flag, for example, those are not necessarily hugely protected, and we're not using the flag. We're drawing inspiration from the flag in terms of identifying and presenting a united front in terms of offering an alternative for South African, the South African electoral voters.
Look, Lerato, you would agree that Action SA is a new party. A lot of people are still getting used to your party, still trying to understand it, and that will happen as time goes on. So some would argue, why don't you just change it?
Look, it is a principal issue, right? If, in fact, the basis for our rejection was founded on, number one, precedent, and it was founded on IEC's own regulations in terms of how they have treated other newly formed political parties in the past, perhaps we will take that on account and be able to do that. But this now, what we are fighting is really on a principal issue. The IEC is saying that they're actually rescinding mentioning or invoking the Heraldry Act in this case, and are saying that now they are only basing it on the similarities between us and the logo. Already that tells you that as a matter of principle, the way that the IEC is treating our registration is actually quite alarming, and South Africans should really pay attention to what is happening, because we are a democracy and we are, by constitution, allowed to form political parties as citizens of the country. And the way that this is happening for us now, it seems that the IEC, instead of protecting our rights to participate in the political process, that they are entering the political space, which we think is quite alarming for South Africans.
We came up to the provincial local government elections next year. How is this going to affect your build-up to that?
This is the problem, and this is why we're fighting this case, and we're actually treating it with the agency that we are, because we have to, by law, be registered by the end of January. And if this issue drags on, then it means that actually it begins to tamper and interfere with our ability to participate in elections. And this is why we are thinking that this is now beginning to be political gaming and ball tossing, as opposed to actually being based and founded on the fact that we actually have contravened one of the IEC's regulations in this case.
So you are consulting with your lawyers. What's the next step?
We are definitely consulting with our lawyers. You know, it is very sad in our country that in order for justice to happen, we always have to be running to the courts. But it is our legal right to be able to do so. We will defend our process, our identity. We will defend so that in future we set a precedent that any other person or any other organization that wishes to register a political party does not have to go through what we are going through. And so for us, we are taking this matter further. We will contest. We will fight for our, as a matter of principle, we will fight for our process. We did not come up with this willy-nilly. We did not even know or were aware of a party called the Party of Action. And I think that also the party of the Court of Public Opinion should be given an opportunity in this case, whether or not to see whether or not voters would be confused by our logo and this Party of Action, which has, by the way, never contested elections at all since their inception in 2018. We've now understood.
As we build up to next year's local government elections, all these issues come to the fore. Lerato Mngobeni, thank you very much indeed for your time and giving us some clarity on this issue. Be well.
Thank you very much.
All right, Lerato Mngobeni, the national spokesperson for Action SA.